Hello everybody, this is Tim, SamY7, and I have a real quick tip for anyone who's trying to make a mega dungeon or different levels of dungeons stacked on top of each other. I went down to a local art store and I found this graph paper that was really small, probably half the size or a quarter of the size of normal graph paper, and it intrigued me. I thought it was really sweet. And what I did is I got probably about 14 sheets of this paper, and it's the longer, you know, it's like the bigger pad here, if you can tell. Probably it just looks like white to you, but that's just all small graph paper. And I got 14 of those sheets, and the idea for the map was that there was this hill, almost like maybe like a large foothill, and there were structures all over it. And what I did was I kind of made the map on the 14 sheets of paper, and I tried to do it like a topographical map, where the first layer, it's going to be kind of hard to see, but the first layer is just a little round thing. Okay, and that's the first layer, and so that's like your first level of dungeon, or not like really the dungeon, but it's like the ruins that are on top of the hill. And then the next layer is a little bit bigger. Third layer, even bigger. Fourth layer, so on and so forth. And you can see I kind of, see that's like the edge of the hill. That's like the topographical part. And what I did was after I got all 14 layers together, I stapled them at the top. And all the ruins on the outside of the hill that you could, like, pretend you were in a helicopter or riding on the back of a large eagle or something, and you fly over this area. If you look down at my map, that's what it would look like from the outside. So I have different squares for different ruins or different buildings that are still there, and they're all numbered. So, I'll have like a key elsewhere that, for my eyes only, but I'm going to try to give this to the players. The idea is that they're going to have basically maps have been passed down through the generations, and basically the map is going to be handed down through generations, and they're going to have just a basic map to use, and that way they don't have to map this out as they go, because I know sometimes people kind of get annoyed by having to map things. But it looks really sweet. Like I said, it's like 14 layers, and there's just all these different pieces of paper that I have stapled together. And I don't know, I'm pretty excited about it. I tried using this in a play-by-post campaign, but I don't know, life's a little too hectic for me to do things like that right now. But I don't know, just get a bunch of graph paper, stick it together, and after you draw the topographical lines, just cut away the excess paper. And that way, I forgot. Yeah. So you cut away the excess paper, so you literally have a topographical map that you can lift up by layer. And it's hard to tell. I don't know if you can see it. No. But underneath each layer, I have the dungeon drawn. So when you pull, it's almost like you would come by with like construction equipment, bulldozers, and take off a layer. You would see the dungeon underneath. And then you would take off the next layer, and you see the dungeon under that. And what I made sure to do was that I lined up all the graph paper lines so that they all match up. So let's say you're in the top, and there's a place that goes down to the next layer of dungeon. The square actually lines up with the square for the stairway or pit or whatever means that you can do to get between levels. So it's basically like it's a two-dimensional drawing of a three-dimensional surface. Basically the hill that I made. But you can do this with any dungeon, I think. Just get a bunch of graph paper, stitch it together. You can cut away the excess paper if there is any excess. But if it's a standard dungeon, I guess you just use the graph paper as is, and just roll with it. So that's my mega level dungeon. I think I've got all the outside buildings numbered. I don't necessarily know what they all are yet. And I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 layers of dungeon. underneath the different layers of paper, and they're all drawn out. And I've kind of shaded around the rooms so that they kind of stand out a little bit. But that's my mega dungeon that I'm going to give my players, and we'll see if they like it or not. So, hope you can use that. Thanks.